Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In Bloodborne, let's have a look at a bunch of Chalice dungeon bosses. And then I'm going to turn comments on for this video and all the previous Bloodborne videos, because I went and I watched the endings for Bloodborne. I spoiled myself. That might sound strange and against my personal policy. But my policy has always been that if you want to look at data mines or leaks or spoilers, you know, that is an individual decision. If you want to spoil yourself, that is your choice. But what I ask for is to, if you do that, leave that choice to other people as well. Be considerate of other people's enjoyment of the game. But I was thinking about it, you know, I don't want to beat Bloodborne until I play the DLC. And I'm not going to play the DLC immediately. So I thought I would just watch the endings, and then that would, you know, fill in that gap in my knowledge there, and also allow me to open up comments on my videos. I ask people to not talk about the DLC in the comments. There's probably not, like, super important story stuff in there, like, obvious stuff. But yeah, if people could refrain from talking about the DLC, that would be great. But yeah, the Chalice dungeons, I love them! If the entire game was just this and the Hunter's Dream, I would be happy and I would totally play that game. Kinda sounds like I'm just describing Diablo. But I love, like, going through, you know, and collecting materials and fighting bosses and unlocking new dungeons and, like, seeing, like, the differences between them. I find it a lot of fun. I also really liked the depths in Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. For some reason, I like the underground, the dark, deep underground. That are also kind of controversial or unpopular levels among players. And then the bosses that I'm showing here, I don't know their names, I don't know like what dungeons they are from. I'll put all that into the comments, and I'll put timestamps as well. But I think this is the Bloodletting beast. I'm showing him first because he's not particularly interesting to fight or talk about, so I'm okay talking over him. But basically I am just summoning a friend and then hitting him with my axe. This axe is +9 at the moment. I'm glad with the dungeons that we can, like, warp out at certain points, kind of refill on supplies or level up or whatever, and then go back in to that same point. We don't need to clear the entire thing in one go. That would be very frustrating, I think. But in a previous video, I talked about Bloodborne being maybe like half a tier below Dark Souls 1 and 3 for me. But these Chalice dungeons is some of my favorite content in any of these Souls games. So in a different way, maybe I like this game more than Dark Souls. And then I haven't even gotten to the random dungeons yet. I'm just playing through the set ones, just so I can unlock everything. But I can see how people would dislike these dungeons if they were hardcore farming for the blood gems that they wanted. Just because farming for anything in any game sucks. And then the people that are most interested in PvP, I've heard them talk about Bloodborne saying like they need to go through the dungeons first. In order to get those good blood gems and then kind of create their ideal build for PvP. So it's like a big chore to do before they get to the content that they really want to play. So that's probably also part of where the dislike for the mode comes from. I am not interested in that, so I'm just enjoying these dungeons for just playing them. Alright, here we're going against the Pthemeru Elder, which is an awesome boss. I really like this guy. He looks cool, but I kept losing to him, and I was like, oh, is this guy, like, more difficult than he looks? Like, he walks very slowly, and his attacks are very telegraphed. But for some reason, I was still losing to him. But, like, his attacks, even though they are slow and telegraphed, they have really good range. Both as far as, like, distance, but also breadth. And then they take away a lot of damage. So yeah, I was kind of not respecting the boss at first. There are like non-elder versions that we fight earlier in the dungeons, and none of them were very tough. So maybe that's what I was referring to. The ones with the trick weapons, the kind of sickles that split in two. But yeah, very cool idea where, like, this elder has a magic staff, and then with the magic, creates different weapons. Like a spear, or a crossbow, or, yeah. Very cool boss. Oh, and with this video, I'm raising the levels of the in-game sound volume a little bit. I don't want it to be too loud that you can't hear my voice anymore, but like the music's really good in all these boss fights, so it's kind of a waste to not be able to hear it. Hopefully it's not too loud here. But yeah, this boss is very cool. I don't know if anybody's playing this game anymore, but yeah, maybe revisit this boss if you can. I really enjoyed playing him. Here I'm using the rifle spear. With it, it has that charged R2 attack where I can cover a lot of distance and then just poke him. Or I can do the stagger. And I had kind of a revelation about the stagger the last couple days. I think part of the reason why I stayed away from it in previous Dark Souls games was because I considered it sort of like all or nothing, you know. You've got to center your build around stagger, or parry, or just not touch it. Because to me, like with Dark Souls, you know, it was like kind of centered on equipment, you know. The weapon used in your offhand, or the shield or something with parry. If you chose that stuff, then you had to commit to it. And then I also felt like if you're going to parry or use parry, you had to use it against everything. And I never wanted to learn like which attacks were parryable for everybody. But here with Bloodborne, I've kind of come at it like using parry only on, you know, certain bosses, and not even any regular enemies. And in thinking in that way, then I became kind of more open to it. So maybe the next time I go back to a Dark Souls game, I will maybe use parry against some bosses, but not, you know, feel tied to it. That I must use it against everything. Okay, so here we're going to look at two fights of the blood-starved beast. This is the easier version. But yeah, in a previous video where I played this guy just in the story, I summoned a friend, and it was kind of a trivial boss. But here, I wanted to play it solo, or maybe it's only available to be played solo. Because I wanted to get sort of the authentic experience of the boss. And playing it, turns out it is a fun boss. Difficult, But yeah, it was enjoyable. But yeah, attacks are telegraphed, and then I found the timing during the combo to stagger the boss, get in the visceral attack. And that's that. Alright, and then next let's look at the hard version of this boss. And this was the most difficult boss for me in the game. Died to this guy more times than anybody else, for sure. But using the rifle spear. And then this is a phase 1 where the boss is not very aggressive. I can be aggressive instead, so I can do the charge attack, dodge the kind of the counter attack that he does. And yeah, this match is really about distance. Doing my charge attack at the exact right distance. Alright, there I got hit by the combo attack. But if I'm careful, in this phase 1 I can beat it without getting hit. And then he will poison us, so I have the poison antidote on the quick use. Alright, so here we're entering phase 2. He will get more aggressive, so then my playstyle is going to become more reactive. I'm going to wait till he attacks, and then I'm going to do something. Alright, but there's this big combo. There, again, I know the timing to do the rifle shot and then stagger him. Alright, wasn't able to get it there. Oh, got it there, alright. Visceral attack. And then some attacks I will just outright dodge. Like, he has a grab which can one-punch you. That's very annoying. Whoops, missed the visceral there. And then there, he has kind of a little combo. I can kind of stand back and then do a charge attack that will be timed just when he ends it. Alright, we're getting lots of visceral attacks here. Good. Okay, and then here he will enter phase 3. And this was where I would lose. Quite a few times I would get him to, like, 15 or 10% HP and then lose. But now his poison is very potent. And I think he has a new combo, which I don't really know about. Alright, there's that one hit grab. Thankfully I dodged that. Uh-oh, we are poisoned. Managed to take him down. We'll eat the antidote real quick. Alright, and we cleared him. I was very happy to be able to do that with the rifle spear. Good weapon! It fits my playstyle. I was lucky to have stumbled onto that early in the game. I want to start a new game for Bloodborne after playing the DLC. And then in that game, I want to try something which is like kind of offbeat, you know? I recently played Dark Souls Remastered 2 or 3 times, and then I played some kind of builds that I hadn't done before. Like, what was it? Pyromancer, Sorcerer. I still have to do a Cleric run. But yeah, here for Bloodborne, maybe I want to use a build that focuses more on Arcane or Blood Tinge. So maybe a little bit more emphasis on magic or projectile attacks or something. Something different. Alright, and then here we have the Abhorrent Beast. There is a guy that we can summon for this fight, but I tried it a few times with him and he didn't seem that helpful. So we'll just go in solo. And then I am using the Saw Spear, which I have not used all game, but this guy is a beast, so it will do extra damage on him. The charge attacks for the axe and the spear, not too helpful here. Because the technique that I'm going to use against this boss is kind of the tried and true Souls technique, which is to dodge the guy's attack, do a single attack, and then run away and repeat. That's kind of my least favorite way to play Dark Souls. I prefer kind of a pokey method where I can be more the aggressor, kind of look for openings, get the poke in there, and then jump out. But just the way that this boss was set up, I felt like this method was more doable. And then this saw spear, it can attack more quickly than either the axe or the spear, I felt like. So that made it easier to get an attack real quick and then jump out. And even though this is not a super preferable way for me to play Dark Souls games, just to prove that I can do it, I'll show this clear here. But yeah, I have the cannon in the offhand, because this is a one-handed weapon. I never really used offhand weapons in this game. Never really felt a need for it. If I did ever go one-handed, like in the world, it would just be to hold a torch for more light. But yeah, in my second playthrough of Bloodborne, maybe I would want to go for a build where I can make better use of the left hand. But yeah, if I needed to stagger, I could just rely on the rifle spear, which has that in the two-handed version. The flamethrower, that looks kind of interesting to me. But you want to have very high arcane stat in order to raise the damage there. So that's part of the reason why I want to do arcane in the second playthrough. But yeah, the cannon here, it's just going to be a single shot that we can use just for some free damage. Yeah, there it is there. In this third phase when the boss is kind of most aggressive. But yeah, kind of a long fight here. It's a long time to be concentrating. But thankfully, this boss, kind of all of his attacks have kind of a similar rhythm or timing. So it's not super difficult to dodge. And then get in there, and then get in and attack. Whoops. That's a bit of an AoE there. Woo! I'm trying to make some space so that I can heal. Yeah, this third phase, very aggressive. Alright, we got him. Okay, so those were some Chalice dungeon bosses. Next, I want to play the one, the Defiled one, where our HP is halved. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.